Alright guys, the second phase of the 2.6 version update is right around the corner, and with it, we're about to get the hype release of Iuno's banner very soon. Iuno is the newest Gauntlet user coming to Wuthering Waves, shaping up to be a sub-DPS and support hybrid, offering strong damage, healing, and one of the best heavy attack amplifications up to date. Iuno will pair especially well with Augusta and on many other teams. So in this video, we'll cover everything you need in order to fully get ready and pre-farm for Iuno, with her ascension and skill materials, the best echo builds, team synergies, her weapon options, and finally, we'll wrap up with the big question, should you pull for Iuno in the first place? But let's be honest, if you are already on this video, you are most likely pulling for this character. And if you guys do enjoy the character guides on the channel, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and put those notifications on if you haven't already, to be kept up to date with the latest WUWA news. But alright, let's get right into the ultimate Iuno pre-farm guide. Starting off with her pre-farm materials. In order for you to take Iuno all the way up to level 90 and max out her skills, here's what you'll need. Starting off with the Ascension materials, first you'll need the much needed Polygon cores, then the Abyssal Hurl from the new world boss tied to version 2.6, and for the overworld materials, you will need to find the Silver Glow Bloom, which are right here on the map, scattered in the zone of Apophel Barons. You can use your sensor to properly locate them, and you should find a total of 50 Silver Glow Blooms in this location. And additionally, if you want an easy way, you can simply go to the shop at this location right here and buy 15 of this material. Alright, so went over how to ascend her. Now let's talk about her forte materials. So in order to fully upgrade her skills, you will need more of the Polygon cores. You will need the Cadence Seed. Since Iuno is a Gauntlet character, you can farm this material in their respective forgery challenges. And last thing is the weekly boss material. This one is going to be the Netherworld Stair, found on this location on the map. And lastly, make sure to have at least 3 million shell credits to fully max her out on both her Ascension and Forte. Alright, so these are the full materials for Iuno, and the good news is, all these materials should be available to pre-farm right now. And to quickly cover Iuno's skill priority, the best skills you want to upgrade first and prioritize would be the Inherent skill and the Forte circuit. After that would be the normal attack and resonance vibration. And lastly, we have the resonance skill and intro skill. But you for sure want to prioritize the Inherent skill and Forte circuit when it comes to this character. So the higher it is, the better Iuno will perform. Alright, now moving on to the echo builds. Iuno's role seems very flexible, but her strongest spot is definitely going to be as a sub-DPS with a supportive utility. That means her echoes should strike a balance between damage and team buffs. So if you want to go for a main DPS build, more damage focused, then you can put on the Free Priest Crown of Valor for 40% attack and 20% crit damage when generating shields, and additionally, you can add the 2-piece of the Windward Pilgrimage or Sierra Gale for more arrow damage. Now for the second alternative, if you want to make Iuno more of a supportive character, a team buff focused build, you want to go for the 5-piece Moonlit Cloud set that gives a team-wide attack boost after she swaps out. And alternatively, you can also even use the 5-piece Rejuvenating Glow if you want stronger team healing and attack buff, which will make Iuno keep your team alive and maybe not need a healer in the third slot. Now with either setup, she'll be able to deal meaningful damage while keeping her team alive and buffed. She's going to be looking pretty good. But now let's talk about the echo stats that you want for the main stats and the sub stats. Starting off with the main stats, you want to have crit rate and crit damage on the 4 cost. For the 3 cost echoes, you want to go for arrow damage or attack percent. Arrow damage will be priority. And for the 1 cost echo, you want to go with attack percent. And for the main echo that you want to use on Iuno is going to be the Lady of the Sea, as this will give her 12% arrow damage bonus and 12% resonance vibration damage bonus, which is exactly what she wants. Now for Iuno's substats, you want to go for crit rate and crit damage as the highest priority. I would say crit rate first, and then if you can find more crit damage, that is pretty good. The priority after that would be attack percent, and lastly, if you can get resonance vibration damage, as she is a resonance vibration damage focused character, that would be pretty good as well. And the last mention for the substats would be energy regen, so she can get her ultimate up a lot faster. Alright, next up, let's talk about Iuno's best weapon options. Because while her signature is quite amazing, it's not strictly mandatory, so luckily she'll have some pretty good options as well. But first, let's cover, of course, her signature gauntlet. This is the best in slot with high crit rate substat and 20% liberation damage, while ignore enemy defense on her liberation attacks, which is pretty perfect for her. But if you don't want to pull for this one, then you can simply use the Verity Handle, best alternative, crit rate main stat, and it has 12% attribute damage and up to 48% liberation damage. Yuno can easily maintain the passive, but that is only if you did pull on Zhang Yao's signature weapon. Another option would be the Blazing Justice Zhani's signature, but if you don't want to pull on limited signature weapon banners, then you can simply use the Abyss Surges or the newest Battle Pass Gauntlet. They're not that optimal, but perfectly serviceable if you don't have the top two options, and will still work pretty good on Yuno. Since Yuno isn't usually your team's main carry, you can definitely get away with skipping her signature weapon if you're low on resources. But if you do have the Verity's Handle, Zhang Yao's signature, you won't have to worry about her signature as it is a close second. Alright, now let's talk about Yuno's best teams and her value in future updates. Yuno kit definitely screams synergy with heavy attack damage dealers, so here's who we think she works best with. We have Augusta, which is definitely her best partner. Their synergy is going to be unmatched, as Yuno is going to give Augusta constant heavy attack amplification and shields, which is exactly what Augusta wants to do insane damage. So her main team is going to be Augusta as the main DPS, Yuno as the sub DPS, and the support is going to be flexible. You can either use Shorekeeper or Verena, which creates one of the safest and strongest teams in the game, with shielding, heals, buffs, and high DPS all in one team. Now for other teams, you can also surprisingly use Yuno alongside other characters like Phoebe and Zhani. Both can use her effectively, especially Phoebe, as she will greatly improve with Yuno's heavy attack buffs. And of course, we can't talk about heavy attack characters without mentioning Jian. Jian is going to be a really good partner for Yuno, as Yuno will be providing amazing heavy attack buff to Jian, which is exactly what he needs to perform. So Yuno as the sub DPS slot on the Jian team is going to be pretty good as well, and the support the same as the Augusta team, either Shorekeeper or Verena. Now you also have a very interesting team here you can do if you want a main DPS Yuno. Here are a few examples of the Yuno hyper carry team, with Yuno as the main DPS, and you can even use Chakona as the sub DPS, and the support would be Shorekeeper. So these are Yuno's team at launch, but if you want to think ahead, keep in mind we have a lot of heavy attack characters on the way, like the Lone Swordsman Kuan and Galbrina, which both do heavy attack damage. Galbrina specifically, a fusion main DPS focused on heavy attack damage and echo skill damage, which in turn Yuno will be a pretty good investment towards these characters. It seems her value will be going up with the release of new characters, so the big question is, should you pull on Yuno, and is she worth your Astrites? I would say yes if you own Augusta in the first place. They're pretty much a package deal. Augusta damage skyrockets with Yuno, and Yuno kit is clearly designed around supporting heavy attack playstyles, which we've seen a lot of heavy attack characters very recently, and we have even more on the way. So with that, she is definitely a pretty good investment to your account. Yuno seems like a very future-proof unit, especially with all the heavy attack characters on the way. A lot of characters will love that outro buff. But that said, if you are not pulling on Augusta and you skip this character, then her current value definitely drops. But that being said, Yuno still brings healing, shields, and damage, which give her strong long-term value, even outside of the Augusta team, so she's definitely worth the investment. But yeah guys, that is all on how to fully pre-farm and prepare for Yuno in Wuthering Waves 2.6 second phase. If you are planning to pull this character, it's now the perfect time to start farming materials and setting up her echoes, as she is going to be available in around 7 days, so 1 week from now, Yuno is finally here. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and put those notifications on. I got you guys covered with more updates, and let me know down below, are you guys pulling for Yuno or saving up for future characters? That is all for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.